Hello, everyone. Hi. So good to be here with you today for your Promotability Factor, the show where I answer your most pressing questions on how to get promoted into senior executive leadership roles. And today's question comes from Abby. She is asking about how to position yourself to very busy senior executive leaders for specifically for mentorship. And the short answer is stay out of their calendar. So I'll explain more about what I mean in a minute. So who am I? My name is Stacy Mayer. I'm from Stacy Mayer Coaching, and I coach corporate managers to get promoted into senior level executive positions. And I am on a mission to bring more diversity to the leadership table by getting 1,000 managers promoted into executive positions each and every year worldwide. So that is what this show is here to do. That is what my mission is. And if you are one of my listeners, then you could be the next senior executive in my path. So thank you so much for being here today. If you have questions that you want me to answer on the show, just shoot me a direct message. Let me know what your questions are, and I'll be sure to answer them here for the world to see. So let me read Abby's entire question because she kind of goes into more detail about specifically her ask, and then I'll unpack it a little bit more for you guys. So this is specifically what she says. External asks for people to mentor can be challenging when targeting very senior, very busy people. Ideally, you bring something to the table for very senior, well-connected people too, beyond just paying it forward. Any advice for that ask, or just be direct and ask? So I gave you the little teaser at the beginning, which is stay out of their calendar. She used the word busy like 10 times in her question, which means that is her perception of them, that they're very important, very busy people. Yes, they are very important, very busy people who are also in charge of their own calendars. So they got there for a reason. They got into a senior executive role because they know how to set boundaries. So if you want to know the first thing, this is a tangent, but the first thing, if you want to be somebody who gets promoted into a senior executive leadership position, get really good on how to set boundaries in a kind and compassionate way. So if you're in a senior executive position, you know how to set boundaries. Okay. That is the first thing, is stay out of their calendar. So the other thing that she's asking is specifically to external employees, right? So like we think, so this is a misconception. We think it's easier to ask an internal executive to be our mentor because we work there, right? So we think it is actually part of their job, that they, it's an easier ask because they're internal, and, it's like, well, we're all at the same company, so maybe we're all in this together. No, that is not true. You treat both external and internal executives the exact same way. Now, this comes into play with internal employees as being super important because you want to value their time. It is not expected that they mentor you just because you work at the same company. And then on the external side, the same thing. Think about it from that mentor's perspective. How exciting would it be for them to have an up and coming leader at another corporation that they have something in common with, that they could mentor at somebody else's company? It's very exciting. It's very compelling for them to be able to mentor people. And that leads me to my next point, which is people who mentor like to mentor, right? They enjoy it. They carve out time for it. It fuels their own leadership and ability to lead at that higher executive level. Again, if you want to start to step into the shoes of an executive leader now, one of the things that you can do is you yourself start mentoring people, right? There are people at your organization that would love your guidance and inspiration. And when you can start to mentor people, you feel that leadership confidence because you're having conversations with them. You're having to define your own unique leadership style. You're having to define your own point of view, like what you care about, what matters most, what skills you learned along the way, right? You're having to define that. So think about it in terms of the senior executive. Same, right? You speaking to them puts them into the frame of mind of leadership. Like it makes them question their own leadership, where they're headed, what they want to get, right? So this is the way that we're thinking about it. Let me take a look at this question again and make sure that, she talks about, Abby asks in this question about bringing something to the table, right? So I don't want you to get so caught up in the value that you're bringing to the conversation, because it's going to do three things. It's going to make you not ask, because we're all like at some level of imposter syndrome, right? Am I worthy to be sitting or virtually sitting in this executive's office, right? So it's going to force you to not ask. It's nearly impossible to come up with a lot of value until you've actually met with the person, right? You don't know what kind of questions you want to ask them. You don't know what kind of conversation you're going to have. And so if you do all this foundational work ahead of time, like trying to get it perfect, and then you walk into their office, it's just going to be some sort of weird, awkward conversation. And then the third reason why you don't want to like try and get everything perfect before you get into the room is because you want this relationship to last. If this relationship feels too much like work for the already very busy senior executive, they're not going to want to keep doing it, right? They're going to be like, okay, yeah, that was great, but that was a lot of work. She really run me through the ringer there. So I'm going to like pass on the next one, right? So you want it to be easy. You want it to be an enjoyable experience for the mentor, right? And so here is my suggestion to you. And let me put this in the comments here. I think this is the link. So we'll see. Let me actually double check. Sorry, I can't talk and type at the same time. Oh, there we go. Yes, that was the link. Great. So what did I link to? I actually linked to a PDF download, a free download that I have that you can find at stacymayer.com/questions. And what this does is it lists questions that you can ask your mentor, right? So this is totally free. You just sign up and you get the download. And that is all you need to do. So that is being thoughtful, is showing up at your mentor's meeting with really solid questions. So the first thing you want to ask yourself is, what do I hope to gain out of this relationship? And then just figure out what questions you want to ask them along the way. And I have a list of 20 questions that you could start out with. So I hope that this feels really exciting and makes this fun for you, Abby, and everybody else who is just listening, because it's not about being direct and just like ripping off the Band-Aid and just asking. It's a little bit more of what is your mindset going into it, right? It's more about like, what are you thinking that they're very busy, that they don't have time for me, right? That I need to value their time, right? That I need to show up with a lot of ideas, right? So yes, be direct and just ask, but also know that they're just people who want to have a connection and would absolutely love to have somebody else that they could mentor and help shape their career like they had mentors help shape their career. All right. Thank you again for being here. If you like what I'm talking about, a couple of different times I mentioned stepping into that executive shoes ahead of time. I actually have a 6-week group program that launches this November that I would love for you to be a part of. It's called Executive Ahead of Time. And I am going to put that in there we go. Registration has not started for this program yet, but you can get signed up on the wait list so that you're the first person to know. Because let's face it, promotion offers are decided long before the offer is actually provided and given to you. So I want to make sure that you're set up to not ever get passed over for a promotion again. So check out my executive ahead of time group coaching program. And oh, thank you. Chris actually asked a question here. Very interesting. Would love to know more info on a mentor program. So let me just cap it off with this because I think that's a great question. Since I'm still here, is that your organization might have mentoring programs that you could be a part of. There could be a community mentoring program. I belong to all kinds of women's leadership groups that set you up with mentors, right? So this is different. A mentoring program is different than what I'm speaking about here today. The advice that I'm giving you today is how do you approach a mentor in a informal type of setting, right? So you can get assigned a mentor and then they have to mentor you. It's like, it's different, right? What I'm talking about is you see somebody, you meet somebody and you like them and you want to learn from them, right? So you want to be able to approach them in a very thoughtful, mindful way instead of just like, hey, can we chat? So these are the tools that you'll need to do that. I hope that helped, Chris. And yeah, take care. I'll see you guys again next week. Bye.